all-star field has been assembled for this year's Futurity. Kiwi mare Probabile showed her class when she returned in the Balmain.
She's 2 legs pulls regret and Probabile back in style.
The regally bred Oakleigh Kirk is looking to add to a CV that already boasts the Golden Rose and the Caulfield Guineas.
Oakleigh Kirk up to Azar, it's got it! Oakleigh Kirk won the Guineas a neck.
Arcadia Queen is first up after her 2 stunning Group 1 wins in the spring.
Arcadia Queen first look at 2000 is going to turn over Russian Camelot.
He only fetched 6,000 as a yearling, but Behemoth is now a 2-time Group 1 winner, both coming at this distance and on this track.
Behemoth out of the pack is storming over the top. From another suburb, Behemoth got up to win it.
Last year's winner, Streets of Avalon, is back to defend his crown.
Streets of Avalon's won from Super Set.
And arrives after a gutsy win in the CF4 Stakes.
Stride for stride, Streets of Avalon fights. It's a winner. Streets of Avalon won the Group 1.
Crosshaven will look to improve on his first up third.
Crosshaven third, Quickie.
And Mr. Quickie will look to recapture his Toorak handicap form when he resumes.
Mr. Quickie for Jamie Carr won the Toorak.
The 123rd running of the Futurity Stakes is set to be one of the very best.
So we have about 20 horses on our property. Most of them are race horses, younger horses, 2-year-olds and yearlings that we're breaking in. I also have a few retired race horses here, one in particular, a horse called Brax. He raced as Rich Rupee. He was one of my favourite race horses and he's got a forever home here with me now. Having this property really helps me unwind and settle down after the races because it's just so beautiful. You get away from racing, get away from the city.
Jamie loves the country lifestyle. She loves having her own horses and you know, some days she'll just turn her phone off and she'll just play with the horses. Go on.
Home life for me and Clayton is quite different to most couples, I think. We're up every morning, working together all day long, going to the races together. I think we really work well together because we bring different perspectives to our work. Pick up your feet. Clayton! This season's just been unbelievable. I think I do tie that down a lot to being here at the property. It takes my mind off of racing and I get to just spend my days off working with horses and not being under the pressure of being at the races every day. I've really tried hard before spring to really work hard and get in with some bigger trainers, and I was at track work every morning and jump outs every day, and it was quite exhausting, but to get rewarded through spring and to have some really big days was all worth it. And I think from then onwards I've just been quite lucky to get on a lot of decent horses.
Nature Strip over towards the inside rail lead. Swats that September run flying, but Nature Strip is going to do it. Nature Strip wins from September run. Swats.
She doesn't panic. She doesn't really let the big days get to her, as you can see. She rode 4 winners on Cox Plate Day and she was very humble when she got home. Like most people, they'd be out of control about it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had trouble staying grounded before. I've got a lot of good people around me. Clayton telling me if I ever get a big head, which I don't think is going to happen. Throughout my whole career, I've always been very humble and appreciative of the support I've got from owners and trainers.
As you can see, with the way her 2-year-olds run for her, it's a really, really massive asset when she can get horses like that to run like they do, and she can get horses to win when they probably shouldn't have won. So she's a massive talent and I'm really proud of how she's going.
Obviously winning Group 1s is great, it's amazing, but to win the premiership would just really be sort of a feather in my cap. It's something no female's ever done, and to be able to complete that before I finish my career would just be unreal. I've been around really amazing women like Claire Lindop and Michelle Payne, and to me, I don't think I'm anywhere near that level yet. I'm still quite young, but to have people look up to me is quite surreal. So just trying to be the best sort of role model I can be and do the best in my career I can.
Good boy. 60. Her have such a strong book of rides today in Group 1s and trying to make history to equal the 5 Group 1 winners that Michelle's already ridden. You know, Jamie, she's got one of her great young horses in General Beau, who I'm sure she'll be looking forward to partnering in the Blue Diamond today.
Absolutely, Katie. If she can win another group. Thanks, Richo. 1,400 metres, $500,000 on offer. As you said, Group 1 winners everywhere. Behemoth and Streets of Avalon and Mr. Quickie, Arcadia Queen, Probabile and Oakleigh Kirk, all going head to head. Sit down, enjoy the afternoon's racing.
Back to 1898, so 13 of the winners have gone into the Australian Racing Hall of Fame. Now, that's hard to do. This is one of the highest rating races, I think, in Australia when it comes to a Hall of Fame. I think the Cox Plate's probably #1. So 2 of those horses are Manicato and Vo Rogue, the most recent. And you go back to Far Lap and Ajax, who won the race 3 times, and Eurythmic. So it's been an amazing honour roll. And, you know, look at Manicato. This is his 1981 win. This made it 3 in a row. The first time he won, Haim, it was over 1,800 metres. It was quite a weird one. He won 3, then ran second, and then won again. And here's Vo Rogue holding off Campaign King. I mean, these are 2 great horses, and Vo Rogue, the most recent winner to go into the Hall of Fame. So, great field this year, but I tell you, really for the last 100 years, it's been a great race.
Absolutely. Behemoth looks like he will be the favourite. And Arcadia Queen Hen, we're just talking about how these horses travel and get around the country. Have a look at this. This is Arcadia Queen coming over on Monday night with Regal Power, and also Minstrel, who's a pacer.
Yeah, I think Minstrel goes round in the Chariots of Fire at Menangle tonight. But, yeah, the aeroplane travel of horses has really sort of evolved over the last, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years. It's much more common now. I remember back in the day, Coolmore and those sort of operations, Ireland used to fly them around just from Ireland to England just for the day and go back. But it's, you see the earmuffs on, they probably sedate them a little bit, so you always want to be travelling 4 or 5 days out. But she's done her share of travelling now, old Queenie, as it says on the head collar. So,
yeah, absolutely. It seems so commonplace now, the travelling, and it was so foreign years ago, but technology and travel make it all so easy. So the Futurity, the first of the Group 1s. This is a horse you know so well, Bruce, and, well, Behemoth Hen. He is a big, big horse, but Ollie's on board today, Bruce.
He is, and talk about travelling. David Jolly's at Ballarat today, guys, because he couldn't come into Melbourne because he'd still have to quarantine. So he dropped the horse at Ballarat in the float, and the horse came up today. So he's done everything right. He's going to run really well. So Streets of Avalon, he's at good odds again today. He doesn't have that sexy X factor, but he's won 2 Group 1s at Caulfield. He won this race last year. He beat Super Seth and Melody Bell. This race, well, it's probably slightly stronger, but that's pretty good form, Super Seth and Melody Bell. He's going to run a great race because he's a very honest horse and he puts himself on pace. He's not one of the 4, Hamish, that I think is the absolute best hopes, but it would be a foolish person to absolutely say no. Mr. Quickie, gee, he was impressive when he won the Toorak. He was second in the Memsey behind Behemoth. He's good, fresh. He's got a Wonder Woman to ride him. He's got Philip Stokes, a fantastic trainer. He's going to run well. He's a horse that's taken a little bit of sorting out. He's won 2 Group 1s. He looked a stayer, then he looked a miler. I think this is a beautiful race for him first up. And so, Sibon, look, we've had lots of laughs about him. Look at him, how beautiful he is, God. He's just been a terrific horse. He's not quite at this level, but he's got to start somewhere, and I think he'll have another good campaign.
Big shout out to Philip Crutchfield, who's the #1 member of the Sosibon fan club. And, well, we talk about the Queen, and you spoke about her, and we saw her travelling over on Monday night. So Willie Pike on board resumes. Best dry track horse in the land is my view. Trialled really well for this and needs things to go right, but she has, as Dean alluded to earlier, got a lot of X factor. Yeah, she does, and if there's a bit of tempo here from, you know, Streets of Avalon, Crosshaven with the blinkers on first time, she can definitely swoop over the top of them. She had a super spring and might just need a little bit further, but a mare like Probabeel, we've got the Queen of the West versus the Queen of New Zealand with honourable mention to Melody Bell, I suppose, but Probabeel probably gets a chance to turn the tables here at 1400 with that run under her belt. She was really, really good there in the mares race at Caulfield 2 weeks ago, the Balmain, and it was off a bit of a lacklustre trial, but as we've sort of noticed, that when the blinkers go on, she's a game day horse, and she was right on her game there in the mares race, and she comes in a list, 1400 suits, second up suits, and she's got to be a chance in it. Oakleigh Kirk did enough fresh, made sharp improvement second up last campaign, and I know Dean's keen on Oakleigh Kirk to run really well today. Well, the Hawks team, I'm sure, is hoping he makes similar improvement here because, look, his run in the English Sprint was fine. It was probably a pass mark. They missed a run prior to that, so it wasn't the race they wanted to kick off in, but, you know, the tracks up in Sydney this time of year can be a bit treacherous, so they need to pick their mark a little bit. Crosshaven here, Bruce. And look, Crosshaven, if you look at the history books, Hamish, it's good to have a run going into the Futurity. Very few horses win it first up. He's got that advantage over 1 or 2 in this race. I think he's going to run well. I think he's about his right odds, but he's got a good each-way chance. And a great overall record, 5 from 8 as we come to you. Brett Finch and the team at PointsBet for market in the first of the Group 1.
Oh, it's a fascinating race. It's like a state of origin, isn't it? Behemoth representing South Australia. The Vicks represented by Streets of Avalon, Mr. Quickie, Sosie Bond, Western Australia with Too Close to the Sun, Arcadia Queen, the New Zealanders with Probabeel, and that's the way I'm going. The Sydney Colt, Oakleigh Kirk. It's going to be an incredible race. On with Probabeel. Jamie Richards has trained 39 Group 1s. He's 31 years of age. We think of Aidan O'Brien and Syed bin Sarur, the only elite trainers that have trained as many Group 1 winners at that age. I think he can win and stalk. I think Behemoth's the obvious danger. Fascinating race. What a great race this is.
The market mover, Brad?
It's Arcadia Queen. Haim is open at $7. It's all the way into $4.80. The money's been pretty spot on with the market mover, so let's see if Arcadia Queen can keep that going here.
Bruce?
Behemoth a nose in front of Probabeel, and then Arcadia Queen, Oakleigh Kirk. Ollie's got to get Behemoth out of the barrier. It can be a bit tricky. Craig Williams has done it brilliantly in the past.
So Probabeel looks like she's the last to load.
Yeah, and I think she's probably just a little bit more tactically versatile at the 1400 of an Arcadia Queen. She'll have to go back and circle them. A little bit worried about Behemoth and Oakleigh Kirk. They might get stuck nearer the inside. Probably hasn't quite been the place to be so far. I just think Probabeel and Arcadia Queen will be in the right part of the track late, and if there's decent enough speed, one of them can win the race, and I think Probabeel will be a couple of lengths in front on straightening.
Gee, she's a lovely type of mare.
She is, and she's a beauty. She's a big, strong mare owned by Brendan and Joe Lindsay at Cambridge, and gets those blinkers on today again, so that helps.
Let's get to Matt Hill for the Group 1 Futurity Stakes.
Set to go. Gates are back and they're racing, and Oakleigh Kirk was slow, missed it by a length and a quarter. Arcadia Queen goes back with him with Mr. Quickie. Sosie Bond began fast with Behemoth, and also Too Close to the Sun, Crosshaven wider, and also Streets of Avalon 5 widers pushing forward. Behind those, Probabeel looking to settle closer to the fence. She's 3 wide at the moment from Oakleigh Kirk, Mr. Quickie. Arcadia Queen is last. Crosshaven took it up to the side at the 950 by 3/4 of a length to Streets of Avalon. Then Behemoth third, the inner tucked away from Too Close to the Sun. A length and a half, Sosie Bon and Probabeel. Then Oakleigh Kirk, Mr. Quickie, and Arcadia Queen is last. As they reach the 650, Crosshaven took a steadier, about a half length. Streets of Avalon inching closer. A length and a half, Too Close to the Sun. Behemoth coiled away. 2 lengths, Sosie Bon, Probabeel 3 wide from Oakleigh Kirk. Arcadia Queen just niggled at slightly. Last, Mr. Quickie. Crosshaven around the turn at the 400 metres held together. A length and a half, Streets of Avalon. Behemoth getting out now, the big man. Then came Probabeel. Oakleigh Kirk up on the fence from Sosie Bon, then Arcadia Queen. Crosshaven joined and headed now by Behemoth and Probabeel. She strikes the mare. Probabeel at the 200. Here's Arcadia Queen, a length and a quarter away. Probabeel a length, Arcadia Queen. Probabeel going well. Probabeel wins it. A half Arcadia Queen. Mr. Quickie third from Behemoth, Sosie Bon. Then Streets of Avalon. Too Close to the Sun, Crosshaven, and Oakleigh Kirk was last.
A lot of money for the Savabeel mare, and we spoke about a record of the track and the distance and second up, and it was a great ride. Jamie Richards, he's a super trainer. Bruce, we're looking at a really good mare.
We are, and Henry summed it up absolutely perfectly, and they did sweep, and they swept so hard, and she was strong late, and at 1400 she's just got that little edge. She's a surround winner, a Group 1 winner at 1400 metres last autumn. She looks superb. Arcadia Queen, Henry, was enormous. Mr. Quickie was good. Behemoth had his chance. This was probably the half a level up from the Memsey, and that took its toll, but the two mares were superb, and the All-Star Mile, bring it on, Henry.
Yeah, I'd say so, Bruce. And probably just also worthy of mention was Oakleigh Kirk. He lost it at the start. He was a bit slow out, back on the inside. He probably didn't go any good anyway. He was a little bit plain late, but back to the drawing board there. But all honours with the two mares, and particularly Probabeel. She swept on them. She had that match fitness under her belt, and Arcadia Queen may have just peaked on her run late. She looked a chance at the 100 Arcadia Queen, but just probably that last 50 found her out. And Mr. Quickie warming up late too. I'd like to see him get to the All-Star Mile if possible, and he's certainly going to benefit from the extra 200.
And Hayne, the first 4 over the line are the 4 that are in the All-Star Mile. So we don't get a wild card from this race, so that's important going forward. But the first 4 have already made it into the top 10. But here's the beautiful sweep by the two mares.
When you look at the All-Star Mile, Bruce, you can't be anything but really excited. In terms of the runs, have a look at Mr. Quick. We know he goes well fresh. He was 10th in the voting. He's in, and well, it's just more to look forward to over this autumn. Willie Pike urging Arcadia Queen, but Probabeel up to the task. We'll hear from Damien Lane on the other side. So the first of our 3 Group 1s at Caulfield, won by Probabeel. She is a little beauty. The Blue Diamond Stakes to follow, and then the Oakleigh Plate. We've still got the Hobartville Stakes at Rosehill Gardens. Stay with us and continue to enjoy horse racing on 7. Much, and James Cummings has a big hand. He's had 3 runners historically. His best result is 4th. Ingratiating, Animo, Arcaded, Willie Pike, Damien Oliver and Damien Lyon looking for his 25th Group 1 win.
Victoria's premier 2-year-old race is headlined by unbeaten filly Entha, already twice a stakes winner.
Well, it's going to be an arrogant win, a soft win, posing for the photo, did it by 2.5.
With Jamie Carr on board, General Beau is on a hot streak, winning the boys' division of both the Diamond Preview and Prelude.
General Beau holding on.
Animo was a fast-finishing second in the Prelude, Jigsaw third.
What a terrific finish.
Ingratiating impressed when winning last week's Talendert.
But Ingratiating 2 strong beat Gimme Para half.
And rounding out a hot hand for the Blue Army is undefeated filly Arcaded.
Wolves and Arcaded won it well.
Wolves was third behind Arcaded in the fillies Prelude and has the returning Dwayne Dunn on board. Artorius was a big winner at Sandown in January.
But it's Artorius, it's going to be a one-act affair. He's really stretching them late, and Artorius has blitzed them.
And Finance Tycoon is back after a win on the Gold Coast the week before finishing 6th in the Magic Millions.
Followed by Finance Tycoon.
It's all set to be a memorable renewal of the dash for the Diamond.
Well, they were. Into the mounting out, things are getting more serious by the minute. This is for the 2-year-olds. The set weights Group 1 Blue Diamond Stakes. General Beau, Jamie Carr stays on board. Maybe, just maybe, stays unbeaten. Hard to knock the form.
Yeah, he's been the benchmark of the Melbourne colts to this stage, hasn't he? He's just a super professional, honest, short course colt. He's just done nothing wrong. He got off Ammo last, obviously the big theory there is whether he can set a 1200. Ammo looks to suit by the 1200. So the owners parted with the 50,000 late entry fee, so obviously they've got faith. 2 for this prep, 3-4 overall. Ingratiating, Talendert last week. Relax horses on the next 2 behind Finance Tycoon and Entha. The blinkers really seemed to make the difference last time down the straight. Different form line. He beat Gimme Par and Birdsville there. It's hard to know where they line up because they're both relatively exposed. He meets the A-graders again here, but the blinkers obviously stay on and the 7-day backup won't hurt him.
Finance Tycoon, you've just spoken about freshened since the Magic Millions, Bruce.
Over the odds, I think, Haim. Not my top pick, but a good chance. He beat Shakiro the week before. He had a pretty tough run in the Magic Millions. The Hayes family have got a remarkable record in the race. I think he's going to run a good race. Luke Nolan's won the race before with reward for effort. So I think one of those horses that would not be a big shock if he were to win. He looks terrific. I don't know, he's going to run a good race by Written Tycoon, so nothing wrong there. Pegassi, well, he's by the New Size Start Turn. It's a lovely horse. He went up and ran in the Millennium. He was well beaten by Profiteer. Profiteer probably be favoured in this race, or at least equal with Entha. So I think he'll run well. Kerry McAvoy's won the race twice in 01 and 11. So if you believe in omens, he's going to win it in 21. But looks well, a roughie. He would shock if he were to win. Animo, change of gear here. I think it's a good move. Do you like him, Henry?
Yeah, well, look, he's been racing like he wants the blinkers, hasn't he? He had the winkers on, but I suppose the biggest push is that D. Oliver sticks with him as opposed to Ingratiating, who won on down the straight last week, so Willie Pike picks up there. Fair argument to say he probably should have won all 3 starts. He had no luck in the debutante. He was really, really good beating Forbes, and then probably should have beaten General Beau last time, just missed on the bob, and the 1200 seems to suit.
Absala Bruce by a former winner in Extreme Choice.
Who we looked at today, Hayne, didn't we, in Flying Hardy. The stablemate of this bloke ran a great race in the Silver Slipper direct. He ran third. So Lloyd Kennewood's got a good little team going. He had to scratch one here. We get to Artorius. Again, a blinker change here, Henry, and I think he's a serious chance.
Yeah, we spoke earlier about it being significant, particularly for these 2-year-olds. The stable ummed and ahed a bit about whether they'd go to this race or they might go straight to Sydney for the sires up there or even the sires down here, but they've rolled the dice and run here. He was super on debut behind Jigsaw, and that race rated through the roof. He was back last there and charged home, and then Sandown last time he charged home too. But Jigsaw just had no luck last time. He was entitled to drop out behind General Beau and Animo. He covered ground and he was unbalanced around the corner, but he stuck to his task really, really well. And I think he's going to get a beautiful run here from barrier 4. We heard Michael Walker during the week uber confident about how this horse has been going, and he's come on since. He won it last year on Tagaloa, so who's to say he can't do it again?
Construct, rider change, blinkers on. One of the 3 horses with blinkers on for the first time, Bruce.
And back up. He didn't run that well last up, but Peter Snowden's won it 3 times, Hames. So a lot of that was with Darley, of course, now Godolphin. He was a very high-priced yearling. I would be surprised if he were to give Peter a 4th, and with Peter and Paul there. And the next one, Hitotsu, is by Japanese sire Morris, who's the first season sire. Of course, Lord Kanaloa, Japanese sire, had the winner last year with Tagaloa, so that would be a nice little segue from one to the other. Wendy Kelly has had the one Group 1 with Bonhoeffer. Look, he's big odds, and he deserves to be big odds. And then we come to the really, I guess, the key of the race, Henry, in so many ways, the filly.
Yeah, well, she's clearly the testing material on what she's done to date. The big question being whether she sees out the 1200. She's looked a star since her early trials in Sydney and Melbourne, and nothing she's done since has suggested otherwise. The earmuffs you can see there stay on. She had them on last time. Whether they're a positive or a negative, I suppose we'll find out soon, but surely they'll do nothing but help her get the 1200 if she relaxes early. And I think Dosh coming out's a significant plus for her, probably takes a little bit of speed out of the race, and I don't see the wide draw as a disadvantage for her. She probably cruises across in her own time.
So let's have a look at the all-important selections here for the Group 1, the Blue Diamond. Is Arcaded with Damien Lane, heads down towards the barriers, 2 from 2, hard to fault. Neither of the Cummings horses really looked anything other than magnificent. So here in the Blue Diamond.
It's always a high-pressure race, the Blue Diamond, just 2-year-olds, immaturity. And look, the 2 favourites are actually drawn next to each other in Enthar and Animo. So I'm wondering, with the blinkers on, maybe Animo will try and follow Enthar. Enthar, I'm sure Mark Zahra will just pop out and try and keep her as relaxed as possible. The 1200 metres is a beautiful run to only the one corner, so it's a bit of a dog leg. No one really needs to be in a massive rush to get to the fence, and the fence is probably not exactly the best spot to be. So I think Mark Zahra will probably just keep her in her comfort zone.
Thanks, Katie. To you, Richo, there's been a change in the track.
Well, the sun is shining and the track is finally drying out, Haim, and we've been upgraded to a good 3 track. I'm going with an outsider here in Arcaded for Damien Lane to team up with Godolphin like he did with the Golden Slipper on an outsider on a filly. I love her acceleration phase. She can sprint really quickly for 200 metres, and she might be able to get a little gap in those and hold off the other stablemate in Animo, who's out of a mare called Animato. I think Bruce will remember this. I think she just found her stablemate Miss Finland too good, so she went over to America and ran in the American Oaks.
Ran in the Lindsay Park colours, didn't she? To you, Brett, for a PointsBet market mover?
Yeah, market movers Enthar, Haim. A couple of hours ago it was $2.80, but since then it's been all one-way traffic. It's now $2.35. The favourite PointsBet market mover, number 13, Enthar.
Bruce, if I could borrow $1 from you, how should I spend it?
I reckon Richo makes a lot of sense, and he was right about Animo. Arcaded's over the odds. She's a bit of a forgotten one of 2 unbeatens, but I'm going with Animo. Drawn alongside Enthar, but as Katie said, but really importantly, drawn outside, not inside Enthar.
So there's the prize, the Blue Diamond, one of Caulfield's spectacular Group 1s. The Blue Diamond Stakes for the 2-year-olds, $1.5 million on offer, 1,200 metres the distance. Owners, breeders, trainers, jockeys, all with so much to play for in the next couple of minutes.
So Ingratiating goes in. Animo just away from the other runners at the moment. There's Enthar. The favourite has gone forward. 230 the tote, 235 official price. Abseiler, who's a bolter here, and Animo. They look to be the final 2 for a special race, the Ned's Blue Diamond Stakes. Animo takes a wide alley with Damien Oliver. He had the choice up to the last minute before acceptances, and he chose Animo. Takes a wide stall. Abseiler is the final one. Construct standing patiently with Finance Tycoon. Now Abseiler, just a shade reluctant. Tendon just trying to get hold of the mouth. There might even just be a slight adjustment required with Abseiler. Toria stands patiently with Hitotsu. A few nerves jangling, I'm sure, in the barriers and amongst the owners anticipating the start. This field of 14 for the Blue Diamond. Absela comes forward out wide and they're locked away. Set to go. Ready, racing in the diamond. Artorius was slow. Enthar away cleanly with Absela, and also showing a bit of speed towards the inside. Finance Tycoon, Jigsaw and General Bow. Enthar deep on the track is right up there too, and also disputing the front running is Pagazi as they settle down. A length and a half away next as Enthar is tracking very deep on the track to lead them clearly now from Jigsaw, General Bow, Finance Tycoon. Next out deeper on the track is Absela. 2 lengths away Arcaded, Ingratiating, Construct, and then came Pagazi and Janebi from Wolves. Well back in the field, Animo with Artorius and Atotsu last. So it's Enthar up towards the turn of the 500. Clearly 2 1/4, Jigsaw, General Bow, Finance Tycoon, then Absela, Ingratiating, Construct, cutting the corner, Arcaded. Then came Animo the widest. Further back, Wolves in traffic from Artorius, Janebi, Hitotsu and Pagazi. It's Enthar at the 200 metres from General Bow. Finance Tycoon, Ingratiating running on. Enthar has a fight. General Bow coming out of Finance Tycoon, Ingratiating, and Artorius is flying at the 50. Artorius pounces, bombs them and wins. Artorius from Ingratiating, photo third. Animo from Finance Tycoon, General Bow. Enthar got swamped, followed further back in the field by Construct, and then Wolves, Jigsaw and Atotsu, a gap Arcaded, Absela well back, Pagazi and Janebi.
Well, if you saw his run at Sandown, you would have had $1 on. He was enormous when he came from last. He's done exactly the same thing after missing the start. Well done, Anthony and Sam Friedman. Well done, Luke Curry. 7 from 2 and a photo. Flying Artie second. His son's just won the Blue Diamond.
Yeah, we saw him drop on him like a bomb there with the blinkers going on first time. Enthar, she got swamped late. We saw her first 200 metres running 10.3. She just couldn't sustain that speed. It was always the query. Animo carted off the track on the home corner, but this colt, he was super. He's really swamped on him with Ingratiating there, and he was finishing 2 to their 1.
Bruce, I saw Anthony Friedman outside the Balnarring post office on Tuesday morning, and Forbes had just refused to load, and he said, I can't believe how disappointing this sport is at times. I said, well, you can win the Blue Diamond on the weekend. He said, I don't think the form's any good. Well, he was wrong.
Well, he was, and he can be grumpy anyway.
No, he's always grumpy, always.
Luke Curry won for Anthony 2 years ago with Lyre, and he does it again. It was just a stunning victory. It really was. Absolutely brilliant last 200. The Godolphin colts ran well, the 2 and the 3. Probably just may have got third. It was close with Finance Tycoon. Enthar Lotterby talked about the ride, Henry. She certainly was asked to do a bit early. I guess that's her natural way. There's Sam. So this is massive because when Lyre won the Blue Diamond, it was just Anthony a couple of years ago. So this is wonderful for the son as well. But oh boy, the gear change, Henry, and for Flying Artie, well, suddenly the sky's the limit as a sire, isn't it?
Yeah, Newgate stud. They've got all the aces at the moment with Extreme Choice and Flying Artie now winning this, and Profiteer a couple of weeks ago, Capitalist. So, yeah, they're flying, and this colt goes to the Golden Slipper now, no doubt.
Isn't it funny, Bruce? Forbes, they were hoping was going to be running well on the Silver Slipper today, and so disappointed, but then suddenly the week turns into, pardon the pun, a diamond. I mean, Artorius has done something remarkable, and a father and a son combination train a Group 1 together, and we're about to hear from Ant's son Sam.
Well, the winner of the Blue Diamond is Artorius. Luke Curry, the winning rider. Anthony and Sam Friedman win the Blue Diamond. Sam, you're a Group 1 winning trainer. Congratulations, mate.
No, thanks very much, Richard. Look, it's a big thrill. It's yeah, look, there's a big team behind us both, and you can't do without all the staff, and this horse has spent a lot of time at both Pinecliff and Flemington, and yeah, look, it's just a huge thrill.
You worked with your dad when you won with Lyre only a couple of years ago with Luke Curry. You worked with him with Hanseatic. What does it feel like to have your name in the book today?
Yeah, well, look, it's a great feeling, but look, as I said, I mean, there's so many people behind this horse, and we're a big team. We've got some really good loyal staff. Rebecca Smith at Pinecliff, Steve Adams, Brad Taylor, Leanne Fielding, all our riders up at Flemington. I mean, it's just a big team effort, and yeah, it's just a huge thrill.
Tell us about this guy, a colt by Flying Artie. You put the blinkers on today for the first time. Was that the key?
It definitely was. Look, we gave thought to the blinkers, to be honest, before Sandown, and we thought we'd give him the benefit of the doubt again, and he was dominant, so then we had a bit of a think. I actually liaised with Daniel O'Sullivan, who does a lot of ratings and form, and sort of said, look, how much do we have to make up on these sort of horses? And he thought we've got to make 4 or 5 lengths up. We tended to agree, and the blinkers, you know, we didn't have him on his trial last week, and he was very lazy, so yeah, look, they've sharpened him up. He worked strongly Tuesday, and he's come here and done it today.
What about the barnstorming finish? At one stage, he looked about 5 lengths off them, in the blink of an eye, he'd hit the front.
Yeah, look, there was sort of shades of his sire there, but he went one better. So the son of Flying Artie, he's a very valuable horse now, and yeah, as I said, I mean, you watch replays of Extreme Choice and Flying Artie going at it, and Flying Artie was obviously very unlucky, and I suppose to have his son sort of finish off and go one better, it's a big thrill. Can you remember when you first saw him? He's purchased at $125,000 the Magic Millions. Can you remember him as a young horse? Yeah, look, he was very immature. He probably looked like he was 6 months off being a developed yearling, and to be honest, I didn't love him. Dad liked him. Dad's a very good judge of a yearling, and you know, we thought he was very immature. We gave him time, and honestly, just in the last 6 months, he's just turned into a beast. So 1200's probably short of his best in terms of his distance. He's a horse that, you know, we'll be targeting at Guineas in the spring. You're glad you joined the family tradition? Yeah, look, it's very nice. And I suppose having the family colours on today is a nice touch. Yeah, it certainly is, mate. Enjoy this special win. Well done. Cheers. Thanks, Richard.
Well, have a look at the happy jockey. I mean, superb ride from Luke. And Bruce, I can't imagine as a father how much pleasure you would get training a Group 1 with your brothers, but I think even more so with your son.
No, for sure, Heyman. Sam speaks so well, doesn't he? And he's got his head in the right place with these horses. He talked about his father being a great judge of horses. This acceleration is what thrills us when we watch horse racing. His ability to quicken, ingratiating was great. Animo was enormous as well, to be honest, but that quicken, very interesting, Haym. Geelong, Sandown, Blue Diamond. I don't think a horse has ever gone through such a program and get to a Blue Diamond. Henry would probably know better than me, but a most unusual program, Henry.
Yeah, and 1300 back to 1200 is the ultimate thing too. I suppose the blinkers negate that a little bit, but he could be a colt that could go to Sydney, and he could go through to the sires as well, Bruce.
For sure.
Well, just a fabulous edition. Well done to all involved with all of the horses that got there, but to Team Friedman, take a bow. It's just a huge performance. To Rose Hill we go next, to the Hobartville Stakes. Last year it was Brandenburg for Seymour Bloodstock, Agon, King's Legacy, North Pacific, Peltzer, all going head-to-head over the 1400 metres when we come back on 7. 2 Blue Diamonds for Luke Curry, 12 Group 1s. Let's hear from him.
Oh, the smile says it all, Luke Curry. Congratulations. You've got another Blue Diamond, mate. Describe that last 400 metres.
Yeah, well, I thought he was a chance, but sort of raced a little bit on and off, and through the run, I knew he was getting a good run through, but I thought he might struggle late just because he hadn't really had a chance to really travel down to quicken, but he just kept coming. It was an amazing feeling the last bit. He's a pretty special colt, mate. You've been through hell and back. We've been talking about that. It's moments like this, though, that just makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. You know, it was. I missed this day last year with the fall the night before, so it's been a much better weekend this weekend than this time last year. But yeah, it makes it all worthwhile. I look around for Sophia, and apparently couldn't get a babysitter and said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to win." No, all the girls are here watching, and she's missed out. So she came last time, but usually most of the big winners I've ridden, she's missed. So I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad.
You start to get a little superstitious, I guess, Bruce. If that's the case, stay at home. I'll win the Group 1, and we'll come home and we'll have a drink when I get there.
And Luke reminds us, doesn't he? Because he was on hand sciatic last year, and then Tim Clark had to ride because of the fall the night before. So lots happened, Hamish, in the last 12 months for Luke Curry, whose career, I think, has just got stronger and stronger as he's...
$500,000, Group 1. It is a deep, deep field. One of these horses is going to win a Group 1 for the first time. It's all happening on the other side of the break.
The button in hand with, it looks as though one to come along, and that is a riderless Hanseatic. Hanseatic for Anthony and Sam Friedman. They've had a big 40 minutes winning the diamond. Here's Hanseatic being led forward. $13 the tote, $18 with the books. Hanseatic is in. So a great sight, the 18 of them lined up in the stalls for the Ned's Oakleigh Plate. Ready to run. Set to go. All clear given. Racing, riding the wave away quite well. Camel Passer shows out with Anders and Mizzy in the early strides. And also Ancestry from that low draw is driving through from Portland Sky, riding the wave in the top 5. Then came How-Womatic, Zutori and Celebrity Queen from Ranting. And then Brooklyn Hustle stand out well back. Hanseatic with Garner. Towards the back, Bold Star, Prophets, Thumb and Dirty Work. So off the rails, Anders led at the 650. Ancestry, the fence and Portland Sky between them. A length and a quarter riding the wave. Then Camel Passer, Celebrity Queen, Zutori and Mizzy. Then How-Womatic, Ranting and Sword of Mercy from Garner stand out. Brooklyn Hustle, Bold Star, Dirty Work. Hanseatic well back with Prophet's Thumb. Into the straight of the 300. Driving up Ancestry. First to straighten from Portland Sky and Anders. 2 lengths Celebrity Queen, Camel Passer. Zutori runs on from Sword of Mercy. Portland Sky's taken the lead. Went to the front. A wall chases. Portland Sky at the 100 metres led. Camel Passer and Celebrity Queen's driving. They hit the line. Portland Sky or Celebrity Queen. They've hit it together. Brooklyn Hustle has just dipped out wide from Camel Passer and Dirty Work. It's a photo finish to the Oakleigh Plate. Then Prophet's Thumb, Garner. Behind those horses, then Zutori, Bold Star, Sword of Mercy. Ancestry got weary. Then Ranting, riding the wave. Anders. How-Womatic well back in the field with Hanseatic. And then came Mizzy and stand out.
Well, Bruce, the studio split. A couple have gone inside. Peter Bence, who's a pretty good judge, refuses to make a decision. Celebrity Queen rushes. Portland Sky tries to hold on. Inside, maybe.
It does look like that. Theo Nugent's first ride in a Group 1. He's on Portland Sky, Hames, so it's his very first ride in a Group 1. And he must have thought he had the race won all the way up the straight. The thing with Celebrity Queen, she was in such a good position all the way. Now, who gets the bob? Look at Brooklyn Hustle out wide. They hit it. Well, you would think Celebrity Queen, from what we're seeing there by a nostril, we're about to find out. It was a typical Oakleigh Plate, wasn't it, Henry?
It was just hard to know where to look, Bruce. They were coming from all angles. Ancestry dived up the inside. 2 good mates there, Michael Boy and Theo Nugent, trying to get their first Group 1. Portland Sky with the lighter weight gave a terrific kick. Camel Passer looked a chance down the outside there at one stage, and just as we thought, that Celebrity Queen back near the inside, and Brooklyn Hustle probably held up at a crucial stage. She flew home.
Well, still we don't know. Has Celebrity Queen maintained that extraordinary first-up record, or has Portland Sky got the job done?
Theo Nugent's excited. He's going back to scale about 13 of the furlong. He wants to get back there to find out.
So Theo Nugent for Matt Laurie, or have Grant and Alana Williams somehow found a way just in the last stride? This angle won't be right on the line. You've got to use a bit of imagination, but the momentum was with the inside horse. Portland Sky had done so much of the bullocking work, being in between the speed of Anders and Ancestry. That photo gives the inside the nod. The camera goes between the two, and still we wait.
The longer it goes, dare I say it.
Oh, I mean, Bruce, with the technology now, a dead heat is rarer, but they still happen. We saw a couple of weeks ago with Defibrillate and Hangman. Maybe, just maybe, they're taking a while.
Well, they split Duda Den and Red Cadeau, hey?
Yeah.
It was a long time ago, no, but they split them. This is, well, it may be a dead heat. Now, I'm just trying to think, Hayne. Talk to Nick. We had a dead heat in an Oakleigh Plate. I don't think we have. 1884, the first running. There's every chance this is a dead heat now, I think.
Let's have a look at this one more time and look at Camel Passer and Brooklyn Hustle fighting it out for 3rd and 4th. I think looks like Brooklyn Hustle's bobbed at the right time for 3rd, but still as the judges scramble.
And this will be Matt Laurie's first Group 1 in Melbourne. I think he's won a South Australian Derby.
He did with Escardo. Yeah, Escardo, about 6 years ago. So it would be his first Group 1 as well. And of course, for the Grant and Alana Williams and William Pike, it would just be the ball would keep rolling, wouldn't it?
Well, this is amazing. I can't think of a time other than the Melbourne Cup that you allude to that has taken so long in a Group 1 to decide the finish.
And the judge thought he had the pressure on with Defibrillate and Hangman a few weeks ago.
And what we see, and we learned from Robert Cram during that, is what goes up and we see on TV and social media, Bruce, isn't necessarily what they're looking at.
But, Haim, why is it taking us so long to see the photo? Because normally we see it quite quickly.
Yes.
Normally we see that image. Now, we haven't had the benefit yet, have we?
It'd be a terrible day not to have loaded the film.
So they won't release it, we're told, until they make a decision. The stewards won't release it, Haim. I've just been told that.
Okay. Well, that's what we're seeing over and over again. Another chapter that gets written. I mean, the drama continues to pile on, and Matt Laurie, uncertain as to whether he's trained a Group 1 winner at home in Victoria, whether he's been beaten by the narrowest of margins. And have a look at this. So,
ooh, hard to tell from that. I don't think the outside horse has lost the race, Portland Sky. It's just whether the other horse's nose is on the line on the inside.
Well, to me that looked like Celebrity Queen. I mean, I'd love to see that again and try and zero in on it. But have a look at Celebrity Queen on the inside. Portland Sky out in front, trying hard. Does he get there, Teo, or not? Now, this is extraordinary. We're going to send our Vic and New South Wales viewers to 7-2 to keep watching the racing. So when you look at that, you really do need it to have it brought up to know what's happening on the inside. And maybe, Bruce, that's why it's so difficult, because there's so much of Celebrity Queen that has been blurred by Portland Sky. So Vic and New South Wales, not sure how we can tell you who's won unless you switch to 7-2. The ultimate promo. Get there and find out. Looking like he's heading towards the scales. Not sure whether that means he's been given the nod or just told to go and weigh in.
I think Henry's right. I don't think Portland Sky's lost. I think he's either won or it's a dead heat. Now, the fact we've seen the photo, the image, suggests that they have made a decision. It is a dead heat, I think, because it sounds like it's going to be a dead heat. In fact, I think it is, Haim.
OK, well, let's get to Richo on course.
Teo Nugent, you're a Group 1 winning jockey. You share it with the wizard from the west, if you don't mind, in Willie Pike. What were you thinking in that last 50 metres? It must have felt like 300 for you.
Gee, it was a long way to the post, about 50 out, when I heard the wizard blowing down my neck. Look, my horse took me a long way into it, and full credit to Matt Laurie and the team for bringing the horse here today, and we'll share a dead heat. But look, it's the first Group 1 for everyone here, and a big thank you to the team.
Mate, this is what you've been dreaming about since you started in this caper.
It is. 4 years ago, I started off with this crew here, race over in Ireland. They taught me how to ride, so it's a big thank you to them. And I'm just so thrilled. Look, I've got a big team behind me, albeit it's a dead heat, but it's a Group 1 at the end of the day. And the emotions are coming, but no, it's a great thrill.
You should be so excited, mate. And he's a proper colt, this guy, because when you said, let's go, didn't he sprint?
He had a great turn of foot when I asked him, especially 1200 back to 1100. That was my only query. He's got abundance of form around him with Tagaloa and Asar form. Obviously, they get over 1400 to a mile, but he stripped 8.5 kilos today. He got in with 50 kilos, and he took me a long way to the line. And no, it's just a great thrill.
Mate, you go and enjoy it, mate. You're a Group 1 winning jockey. We need to chat to William Pike. We'll just make sure COVID protocols are set, and the wizard from the west. Willie, right on the line, little Teo's first Group 1, he thought he was home, and then you said, I'm going to share it with you, buddy.
Yeah, well, the day I'm having, I suppose, I'm pretty happy to share one, actually. The other end is second, so I'll take this.
Yeah, that's right. 3 Group 1s, you've been runner-up in 2, and get that one. She did a great job.
Yeah, she definitely did. It was a good effort. I was trying to steer away from the inside, but I couldn't find my way out in the middle of the track, so I just went where I had to, and she was very brave right through the line. She attacked every way, every bit to the line.
Well, mate, you deserve all the success. We know how hard you work. Good to have you here.
Yeah, no, it's great to be back. Eating a bit of humble pie today, but I'll take what I can get.
Oh, still a good effort, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
And Matty Laurie's not far away as well. I need a quick comment with Matty Laurie as well. And Matty, congratulations. And another Group 1, it seems a while ago, the South Australian Derby, doesn't it, mate? You have to share this, but I'm sure you're still really pumped.
Thanks, Richo. Yes, more than happy to share this. I wasn't sure, but the horse has gone enormous, and you know, just couldn't be more proud of the horse and the team at home, and you know, extremely happy for Teo. Just fantastic result.
What a quality colt, mate. I just mentioned to Teo, when he pushed the button, this boy can accelerate.
Yeah, you know, he had Anders on the outside. He's sort of in the middle, and he really stuck to his guns. You know, that can sometimes, those colts, they can sort of turn it up a little bit, but you know, he really he put in. Yeah, it was a fantastic effort.
Your first Group 1 came pretty easy, didn't it? Escardo in the South Australian Derby early on, but it's hard to keep getting them.
Yeah, mate, I thought that was a fluke, but maybe maybe we go all right.
Maybe you know what you're doing, mate, and you're obviously a part of a big team.
Yeah, mate, we've got some great staff at home. You know, they'll be over the moon, so yeah, we'll have a quiet night.
You should have a celebration, mate. You deserve it. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
He looks pretty relieved, doesn't he, Matt Laurie? So his second Group 1, Theo Nugent's first. Grant and Alana Williams there, 13th, and Willie Pike gets a dozen now at the highest level. We welcome back in Dean Lester. Dino, I saw a text from my mum. She said, I'm sure it's a dead heat. I'm not